Sugar, 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 sugar. We're moving along now. Chapter 16, course is starting. Course is starting right now. Ha ha ha. We're chugging right along. This is the load boards chapter. This is where we learn more about the load boards and get some exposure. Get to talking about where are the loads? Where are all the different places we can go and do, and what type of deals can we make? Here's a cool deal I made. It was in a situation where I needed to get home. You see, it's 2 ISO containers. Normally, these ship out all the time from the different parts on the East Coast, all the way down to Virginia Beach up to New Jersey, and they're usually only like $1.50. JRC has had them for a while, and they ship down to Houston, Baton Rouge, and South Louisiana, and different places. So I grabbed these to Houston, and I've known from experience before that I've LTL'd these before. Previous time that I LTL'd them like this, I hung some of the back one off the back like 1.5 feet, then the front one like 1.5 feet, then I put like a foot, and I put like an 8-foot piece in the middle, and I took those all down to Houston too for like an extra $1 a mile. So this was like in a situation I was going home because I needed to or wanted to, or a combination of both. And I got these tires. These are airplane tires. Yep. These are tires that go on an airplane. They were pretty large, like shoulder high, really cool. Took a picture on the inside and stuff. Dropped these 4 of them. There was like 2 going this way and 2 going the other way. I forget, but or it might have, yeah, I think there's 3 of them. But we made it work, and I got that for like another $1.50 or so a mile to go down for these $1. I got it for like at least $1.20. So I made this $1.50 like $2.50, $3 a mile. Even though it was a little tricky to get that load, because it was like the load wait it did work. No, actually, my other LTL that I had with this one fell through. And this was a one I got at the last moment. I was almost dedicated to bring these containers all the way back to ISO tanks. These are empty tanks for liquid. Real easy to tie down and stuff. Doom boom boom boom. Chapter 16. We're on the other side of this. Load boards. There are a number of load boards and ways to get freight. There's a number of load boards and a number of ways to get freight. The 2 main ways to get freight is through load boards and through direct shippers, also known as direct customers, and whenever you hear the term direct freight. Some people prefer one way over the other, and many will say you can't make money if you do not do it their way. The people who say this usually have direct customers or some type of dedicated route of some kind. And they say if you run the brokered freight that you can't make any money in this business, and etc. But I disagree with that statement. But if you are having direct customers, that is great. Having direct customers can really be a tactic to boost revenue, cut out the middleman, so to speak, the brokerage, and work closer to home. Especially for closer to home operations, guys get, especially in industrious places that have different like operations going on, where there's a lot of dedicated freight going out, and they get in with these places and yards and set something up where they can maybe go down to the same place 300 miles away or 200 miles away a couple times a week would be great. But it will take some self-encouragement to go out there, find it out, or maybe it's just right time, right place, and you have to want it. Then it becomes a dedicated. So if you prefer the style of dedicated work, I think you'll be more inspired to allow those situations to occur. The reason I don't myself I actively seek direct customers is because it's too much of a job, like a job to me. I enjoy having complete control of my time, and so if I have direct shippers, a majority of them will want to schedule runs, certain pickup times, consistent weekly pickups, and etc. And that is fine, right? Uh, so I like to take weeks, sometimes take weeks off in months at a time. So having and it goes by quick sometimes when it, like my opinion, when you get used to having the and some say that's the difference between like what being like money and wealth, or being money and wealth or something like that, where money is where you have a lot of money, but wealth is like how long you can afford to live at your current lifestyle or a little bit better without needing to make money. And so and that freedom of time is more so wealth. So I think the more one experiences wealth like that, the more like their observation of time changes, where it sounds like, oh, he's taking a month off and all that stuff, but it can go by so fast. It's just um um uh yeah, it becomes just valuable getting, I don't know, caught into the moments in what you're doing and enjoying life. So in our low places here in town, and we get along well. Yeah, maybe one of these days. Now I know we're a pipe yard that I have here in town. Now I know if this pipe yard wanted me to like do a project where it's like, hey, we're doing something for the city, and we're going to need like 3 loads a day for like 5 days in a row. What's your bid? I'm like, what do you want to do for it? And it's like, okay, let's go. I've done that before for the steel company from this pipe yard. You know, they're well known. They've been here for a long time and part of the city. So even like I took some pipe from here over to the rail yard, but it was not. It was for like parish construction. Many direct shippers are shipping high volumes of freight, right? And they need carriers with multiple trucks and trailers. And this is when you get into being a fleet and having 2 or 3, really 3 to 5 or more. You know, that's what I suggest. If you want to get into having multiple trucks, is to go into the route of like 3 to 5 trucks instead of just 2. Especially if you're driving one and working one and doing all the dispatch and doing all the pay. And doing all the W2, like, you know, being accountable for all that in FICA, like that's what I suggest is going to 3 as quick as possible. And then from there 3 to 5, then probably from 5 probably like around 7. Then from 10 on, you know, it's just pretty much sky's the limit. Then if that's what you're really enjoying to do, and by then you're going to have a team of some kind that you're able to build that matches your vision of how to do it, right? But I want to say here as well, just a reminder that though that is true with the multiple trucks deal, but also this is not always true. So as far as like individuals can also land deals and contracts for sure. It all just depends on who you know and who you meet along the way, and who's running the operations and who gets to decide who ships what. And if this is the person you're making your deal with, then it's good, and you put it down on paper, and that's that. Yep. So if you keep your eyes out, you may find a small business in town that ships out a couple times a month and whatnot, and you can make a deal that pays enough to deliver the load and drive back. You know, I guess a lot of guys seem to be charging right around $3.50 a mile or $4 a mile. More so like $4 a mile would be $2 a mile out, $2 a mile back. But this is up to you. How you run your operation is all up to you, of course. That's the beautiful thing again about this trucking business and in business in general, right? So nobody gets to decide for you the way that you want to run your business, especially if we're over here on we're on the authority side now. The same way nobody can make me work with the direct shippers. Nobody is can make you work with direct shippers or off the load boards or etc. Right? So, and that's just the freedom level that's in this now. So congratulations. Some guys don't like to negotiate rates and look at the low boards. Some guys like to work a smaller radius and stay closer to home. That's cool. And they find a direct shipper that can do this. Some guys like only dealing with like a couple of people. Right? And I'm not here to bash having your own customers. There are many people who do well with their own customers, right? Especially if freight goes through like a slow time or a slow patch, and rates just around the whole country just kind of slowly come to a screeching halt. It's like, ah. Then those guys with those direct customers, they're still pulling through at those above average rates. Okay, so that's one of the benefits. So if the rates are going down across the country, guys with direct shippers are usually able to keep their rates the same. Many times the rates are in a contract, so they have to stay the same type of deal, depending on volume and stuff like that. The amount of truckloads that are going out and projects and etc. But on the flip side, when the outside rates are booming in the wide open market, in the public market, they are kind of stuck in their direct shipper contracts as well. But they probably chose it because they were okay with that price anyways. But when the outside market booms up, their rates are more than I might see increase after time and depending and stuff like that. But it seems like most owner operators with their own authority run off the load boards. Okay, I would probably say 60 to 90% of solo owner operators run off the load boards, give or take, or a combination of a direct shipper or two and load boards. Maybe only 10 to 20% do straight direct customers. I could be off, but that just seems like, from my experience from interviewing and talking to so many people over the years, probably over, I don't know, thousands of people. So, which is kind of weird because usually I do what most people aren't doing. But yeah, a lot of us, we're running the low boards, okay? But your mentality, boom, and how to use the low boards, boom, and then your customer service, boom, is what's going to separate you from your competition. Mentality, how to use the low boards, boom, and then customer service. Okay, let's continue. Let's talk about the main low board providers and my opinions on them. There are two main low boards, and we've already been talking them up. The rest are broker low boards and smaller competitors of DAT and Truckstop. And this is not a conclusive list after I get past the main ones. And there's more, and there's going to be more made as we go and continue into the future. So we have Truckstop.com, ding, ding, ding. We got DAT, ding, ding. We got low board. What is this one? Oh, 123 low board. It's like a ding. Then we got this Uber low board. That's a ding ding, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a ding ding ding, depending on van times and what's going on with van and eventually flatbed freight. We have Convoy, ding. Then we have this Trucker Path low board. It looks like just a whole bunch of heavy leftover freight, and maybe it will develop into something. So it's like a down. Well, we're going to talk about it here. Then we got these 7, which is the wild card, which is in-house broker load boards. Like I mentioned in the technology, ATS, the Sherway load board at brokeredloads.com, the JB Hunt Carrier 360. I think Buchanan Hauling and Rigging has a load board of their own. I think Trinity Logistics has a load board of their own, and so on and so forth. There's many brokerages, and that's when you get into the wild card ones, brokerage specific. All right, so I've used all of the load boards mentioned above, and truckstop.com is by far my favorite. So those are all links up there too, I believe. So let me double check. Yeah, they are. They're links in the ebook. So it has been said, and they say, truck stop is better for flatbed, step deck, and RGM, and the DAT is better for vans and reefer. This has been the saying for quite some time. I would say that it's pretty accurate, probably. I've done some investigating on van loads on both. Not a too much of a ton, but I could see that being a thing. It does seem that truckstop.com is more geared towards open deck, LTLs, which is less than truckloads, of course, and etc. I use both Truckstop and DAT. Like I said at the time of this writing, I did. Excuse me. And I get 95% of my freight from Truckstop. Maybe that's because I'm flatbed, and that's a type of trailer that I haul, and I'm married to, dedicated to. But I do like their website. It's a lot cleaner, in my opinion, and user interface much more over DAT. Now, I would have to look around into it, but DAT might be actually a little bit cleaner though for multiple trucks, like dispatching. Because when I was looking at DAT on a computer, and I haven't looked at DAT on a MacBook Pro or a MacBook, I bet you DAT probably does look a lot better on a MacBook Pro, hopefully. But I don't know. But it seems like the new truckstop.com update, there's probably some ways to do. No, there's probably multiple searches. I'd have to look at it. But DAT is also, since they've been around for so long and they're such the standard, it's always going to be set up probably easier to do multiple trucks. And I think that's something that truckstop.com is catching up on, is also providing, more of an interface to do multiple trucks at once. So we can have, like, say this is the top part of the screen. You can have one search going, horizontal all the way across. Then the next one will be horizontal all the way across. Next one will be horizontal all the way across. Next one will be horizontal. So you could be looking at 4 loads at the same time. Maybe like 5 or 7 loads. Or maybe just with multiple screens. That maybe be another way to do it. Or run like split screens, and I don't know if you can run different instances. But at least be able to see a couple at the same time, or maybe on a different screen or two, where you can see like 5 to 10 or 15 loads popping up at once for each truck if you're doing like 4 at a time. I don't know. But essentially it's repeating the same thing. Like, so this is a thing too. When you get great at doing this, getting money out of the load board and booking yourself great freight, I think whenever you get ready to like retire from trucking eventually, or if you like, have like some type of commitment at home, maybe have your first child or another child, or like relationships well and money's well, and you're like, what, maybe I want to retire or whatever from actually being actively trucking. This is the knowledge that we learn from in this skill is the same skill of dispatching. Okay, so really just dispatching is taking this same skill that we're harnessing through getting money out of the load board and just replicating it for like 1 truck and 2 truck and 3 truck and 4 truck and 5 truck. So it's like doing the same thing that I do for myself for 5 trucks, essentially. And since we've actually been out here on the road and we know these mountains, we know the terrain, we know the places, we know the hot spots, the cool spots, we know how to keep moving around. We're not sending people all the way to just Vancouver, Washington for no reason, when we live down in the different part of the country, and we know the rates coming back. We know what this type of load is, and this type of load and this shipper. We know if this, we just do things different, and so we replicate that 5 times over. And I think that's just something to hold on to, right? Because it's the same skill replicated over and over again. Same thing that we're doing, getting money out of the low board. I might be getting closer to that reality myself. I'm gonna give another 24 months. I don't want to put a time limit, give or take, because I'm going to continue to truck drive. But if I really want to do some, we'll see. But dispatching, I still enjoy hanging out on truckstop.com. I know truckstop.com like the back of my hand. I can just sit here, hang out, watch it. I did the 17 or so episodes of truckstop.com, but I've been doing it for way longer, and it's just like, second nature, like how someone's looking at the stock market. But I'm also learning other skills too, and that's what it's all about. But it's all good. Always gonna be. I'm always just showing options. Just showing options, right? Options. So on my iPhone, I can pull up the Safari version of truckstop.com and work it just like I can on the desktop. And now, since the time of this writing, there's an upgrade and it works even better. And it's like an app version and it works great. So even now, we can move the columns. All right. We'll talk about the columns and stuff, but just definitely go watch the truckstop.com videos that I have on YouTube. So you can, even before you pay $1 into truckstop.com, you can get a ton of experience of what it looks like. And maybe I'll even make some more new ones here soon, depending on how much free time I can make for myself. But the columns are the way that we see the low board, like rate per mile, pickup city, pickup state, delivery city, delivery state, or like deadhead miles will be somewhere in the middle. I had to pull mine up, but now you can even customize it. But that's usually how I look at it: rate first, rate per mile. Then we got the age over here. Then whenever you click on one of the buttons, you can flip the whole load board, so you can look at all the new loads that are coming in. And if it slows up for a minute and you're like, okay, nothing popped, then you can click where it says rate per mile, so you can look at the highest paying load per mile. And then the whole load board is going to flip like this. So now you can start studying it, and see if there was something you missed, or if something you can string together or put together, like boom, 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 boom. And there's different ways to look at the load board like that. Then if there's nothing that really like meets your satisfaction, you're like, okay, let me flip it back to age. And now you can get right back into the stream of the new stuff that's happening again. Maybe even refresh your screen again, and then you get right back into the fresh of what's happening again. So this can be done in DAT too, though. Like I'm not saying this is a truck stop exclusive thing, but these are both going to be pro versions, though, to get the live postings. Definitely worth it. Okay, $150 for truckstop.com per month, and I don't know what it is for DAT right now, the one that has live postings. So by flipping the load board around, this allows me to work the load board so much faster than I can with DAT's app, their phone app. You can only see like 5 loads at a time at the time of this recording, 2021, quarter, what? We're still in quarter 3, almost quarter 4, October, November, almost quarter 4. Yep, it's just like 5 loads posted. You got to keep scrolling up on the app until you see something you want to call in. It's kind of just bulky and unorganized, like I mentioned earlier. Like we talked about earlier. But it's nothing like using the desktop version, right? Yeah, it's for DAT. The desktop version of DAT is much better. But as truckers actively out here driving and running our trucking company, as the driver, the owner, and the operator, it's a little more difficult to have the laptop out at all times, because sometimes loads just come and catch at in certain moments, or it just depends on, we just need to look at it at different times of the day, which means like we're going to miss certain ones because we didn't have our laptop out. Now we can still pull our laptop out and get a nice deal, or if we're in an area where it's a little bit slower and we know we got a lot of competition that morning, we can go into like the truck stop and just like bring our laptop out and just like really just focus in with some coffee or something. I've done that many times where I'm just like I'm plugged in then so I can really see more of the loads at once and just be ready to call and ready to move. But for the most part, we're not on our laptops like that. It's more like cell phone and tablet based activity out here. We're more mobile and we don't have to set up hotspots on our phone. Cause that's how I put internet on my laptop, is through hotspots on my phone. I got this AT&T business plan, and I get 100 gigabytes of hotspot data per device. So I got like 5 devices on my plan, and my iPad can turn into a hotspot. So if I were to use up 100 gigabytes onto my laptop, I can move over to my iPad and use 100 gigabytes off that. And when I'm at home, then I can plug into my wife's phone and get 100 gigabytes off that, and so on. And so I can run all my business at home, all my online business at home, with these gigabyte plans as well, just because of yeah. It's that that's high-speed internet in certain parts. Doo boom boom. So yeah, when I'm looking at these load boards, what do I want? What do I need? I need a bird's eye view. I need to be able to look at all the loads that are happening at once. I need to be able to see like 15 to 25 loads at once, 50 loads. I need to be able to scroll up and down. Yeah, I wish I could show you at the same time as this. Actually, I probably can. Can I? Let me see something here. I got my Safari right here. I got truck stop. Let me see something real quick. Oh, never mind. I'm not logged in because my phone is back inside. I got it charged and I was inside cooking lunch earlier. So I need vision. That's the bird's eye view. That's the point of having the bird's eye view. I'm way out here. I can see all this big flow of stuff that's happening one way or another. I'm not just getting caught up in one little thing. I can see all the rate per miles. I can see all the freshest loads coming in. I can see all the rate, all the loads that pay the most. I can see it from the top down, so I can see what pays the most, or I can see what's the best rate per mile, or I can see what's just being posted. These are all, bird's eye view and vision. I need to be able to move quickly is the next thing. I need to be able to move quickly. So once I get vision, I need to be able to move quickly. I need to flip the load board around. Or like when I see a load that has a nice rate per mile and I see the mileage and I see the total rate on it, I'm like, okay, nice. Oh, his deadhead miles is only 56. I need to be able to jump and read it quick. Then I'm like, oh, geez, it's going to Upper Main. Okay, that load's no good. Keep it moving. So I need to see. That was quick. It only took me like 5 seconds to discern on that load, or sometimes less, or definitely less when we're doing our quick scan. When I'm quickly scanning through it, like brrr, I'm like, boom, okay, rate per mile, rate. Oh, that matches. That looks nice. Let me go over here. Check this. Oh, this one checks out. Let me click on the load. Or maybe I won't even click on the load. I might just press the phone button and pick it up. And call the phone. Then when I do that, I'll either be on Bluetooth or something, or like speakerphone. So I'll go and I'll back out a phone call, and then I'll look at the load details and see what it says and make sure everything's good. But now since I don't tarp. Well, at least that's what it seems. Yeah. So I might just check it real quick to make sure if there's tarps or not, So, but yeah, that's how that goes. So we're going to talk about that more in another moment on the booking the freight actual specific parts. Right? We're going to get it to the bone core of that. I use the Pro $150 version as we talked it up. I've talked it up a lot already. Right? The $150 version is the one with the live load postings. Another feature that I love about truckstop.com is Ansonia credit reporting. Ansonia credit reporting. When you click on the days to pay, which is the acronym D2P, it just says D2P is on one of the columns, or somewhere when you click on it now, I think on the low details, days to pay. Like I show in my video. What did I link a video? I think I'm about to link a video somewhere on here. But really on Truckstop episode 1. I showed it on episode 1. I'm pretty sure. You can see how many companies are reporting to Ansonia and what their average days to pay is. So I like to cross-reference this with this website right here in the yellow, which is brokercreditcheck.com. I guess maybe it's checks with an S, but this should be the right link. Broker credit checks. Broker credit check. It's either broker credit check or broker credit checks. I need to double check that, but it's going to be in another chapter. So I know that chapter is dedicated to it. So we'll see that on the how I credit check. Okay. Ansonia is a factoring company. Okay, so they have a ton of people factoring with them, and they get a ton of data. And this is the data we get to look into to make sure that people are good on paying their bills. So they get to see all sorts of data. We get to see all of their data with this feature on truckstop.com. So if they have if they have a days to pay that are within 40 days, you know, I'm looking for a net 30, but if it's within 40 and it's a nice load and it's a load I want to do a deal on, I'll accept 40 days because I can wait 40 days for my for my money. Just pay me in full. That's why I'm credit checking. And if there's more than 50 carriers, because that's the cool part with Ansonia, when you get into this detail part of it, when you go through the days to pay, you click on the number, and when you ask to show a detailed report, and I think it's like you got to right click on one of those or open it in a new window or something. I'd have to just be in front of it, but you'll see it's in there. But to get to the next screen, because the next screen will show you this cool part right here, where it is show you how many carriers are reporting. So if the brokerage has been around for a while and they've been paying their bills with Ansonia, and remember, there's also different factoring companies. So it's not that if there's only like 10 carriers reporting, it may not be because the brokerage is horrible. It's just that maybe they haven't been around for a while, or they have their local guys that run the trucks, or people are reporting to different brokerages. But the bottom rule of that one is, like, the more carriers that are reporting, the more you can trust the number, right? So out of 50 carriers reporting their bills, they all seem to get their money right around 37 days. So that's good data. And so if it's like out of 10 people, they all get their money within 30 days, that's still pretty good data too. So, but the lower the number of carriers, the more you kind of want to just feel around the brokerage and just make sure they're legit. And this is one of the ways we make sure that they're legit is by checking their credit like this. Let me take a quick break. I got this weed. I got a weed eater coming.